A very good afternoon to all who have just joined us at Tech Innovation 2021. My name is Alvin Un, and I'm your host for today. The next program will be on Design Think Tank. Design is an important component in problem scoping and ideation before diving into any technological solutioning. Launched as a partnership between DesignSingapore Council and IPI, Design Think Tank is a platform, much like a reverse pitch for organizations interested in exploring a design-led approach to addressing its challenge statements. It provides an opportunity for potential responders to engage in deeper conversations with industry leaders to spark new and meaningful collaborations. We will hear from 3 participating challenge owners on the solutions that they wish to crowdsource from industry and design partners like you. Each speaker will be given 10 minutes to present. This session will be an interactive one with a short Q&A segment following each presentation. Now, should you have any questions during the presentation, please type them in the Q&A feature at the left panel on your screen. We will answer your burning questions during the panel discussion towards the end of this keynote. Without further ado, may I invite our first speaker, Mohammad Khairul bin Sukor, Product Development Manager at Gloobe.
Hello. Thanks everybody Can everyone hear me? All right, that's good. Okay, I'd like to thank the organizers for giving me the opportunity to share about the problem statement and also more about my company. All right, so let's begin. So a brief introduction of my company, our company Gloobe. So Gloobe is born in Sweden in 2017 and raised in Singapore in 2018. So we are committed to the health of present and future generations, and we dedicate ourselves in preventing diabetes naturally. So how do we help? So we have a preload biscuit called OT, which helps to prevent diabetes naturally. So OT is named after a promise to be there with you throughout your journey. So how it works is basically eating the biscuit before a meal, and it helps to reduce the uptake of glucose through 2 mechanisms. One is to signal the early release of GLP-1, which stimulates the release of insulin. And secondly, because of the fibers that is inside, it helps to delay the absorption of nutrients in the body. So this was a study that was done in Sweden before my onboarding to the company. So if you can see here, if you eat a biscuit before a meal, the rise of your blood glucose is not so high as compared to just eating a meal. So this is how we prevent diabetes naturally. So our main objective to be raised in Singapore is to fight a war on diabetes, gestational diabetes exactly. So what is gestational diabetes? It's a temporary diabetes found in pregnant ladies. So in normal circumstances, the body is very resistant to insulin because your body needs more glucose for the mommy and also the baby. Insulin will be released to control the glucose, but in a situation where the pancreas cannot meet the demand, there's insufficient insulin, there will be an increase in blood sugar, which will cause a problem for both the mom and the baby. So the problem in Singapore is that 1 in 5 pregnant ladies will have a tendency to have GDM, and 10% of them will develop diabetes after 5 years. So a person that has GDM has a lot of initiatives to follow through. There's a path that is laid out for them. So government initiatives to self-manage, and also certain support groups that are found online. But is it enough? So the problem is that although there are certain pathways for the patients to follow through, 90 to 95% of the ladies do not actually go for their follow-up checkup. So that is a big problem. So in Gloobe, we have a dream and we also have a vision, which is to create a tripartite relationship between the stakeholders and to also bridge the gap between all of them. Because we feel that the reason they're not actually following through is because the feeling of feeling worried, surprised, or even guilty. And the process of actually having or solving the problem statement, we hope to accelerate from feeling worried to actually being relieved or feeling supported. So the dream that we have is to create a platform that allows us or the patients to communicate data effectively to healthcare workers, and allowing healthcare workers to educate and also to manage the patient well. And how do companies play a part in it is to provide the services and also for patients to actually seek the services that they need from companies that is within the integrated platform. And most importantly is to find or create a platform or support for these patients so that they can overcome the adversity together. And we hope that this platform can be gamified so that it is less stressful for them and also to make it a bit more fun. So we need you to create a better future today. So how can we actually collaborate? So for example, okay, so how can we collaborate? So for example, Gloobe and the certain partners could actually have collaboration with healthcare institutions such as hospitals, and also have the GDM patients to be able to willingly share their data. Not anything private, it's just their blood glucose, their weight, their dietary, things that is important for the healthcare to know and to be able to advise them or to monitor them closely. And in return, patients can come to us to be able to seek the services that they need. So what we have currently in Singapore that was done as a study is this app called the Habit GDM app that was done in NUH. So this app has everything like from tracking glucose, physical level, the ability to chat with someone or the professional, the healthcare sector, and also to have lessons inculcated in the app. Now, we hope that we could create something better with AI, a very good user interface, and also a very proper app design. And what I think that is missing in this app such as this is a proper support. So there is an app out there for new moms called the Asian Parent, which is very good in terms of the support and the user interface that it has. So to conclude the problem statement is we need a proper integrated platform, the willingness to collaborate so that at the end of the day, we can have or improve the patient's well-being. Yeah, so thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Khairul, for that presentation. Now we have some time for you to answer some of the questions that our viewers have asked. The first one is, has Gloobe thought of leveraging on existing mummy networks? What were some of the challenges that you may face if you have done so?
Well, as of now, our company is still a baby. We're still new in Singapore.
Yes.
So we haven't really outreach because we haven't really found a good platform for us to outreach. Because all these different mummy has different agenda. So we're not really sure how we can squeeze through all the network. Yeah.
But have you have any plans for future plans to reach out?
Currently, we are in discussion with NUHS to have a clinical trial to see the effectiveness of the biscuits to more of connecting with the hospitals,
Right.
but not yet towards the consumer perspective. So it'll be good if we can have a little bit of assistance in that manner.
Yeah. Next question. Let's see. Is this only for pregnant moms only?
In the beginning, is just a niche to target pregnant ladies or pregnant moms, but actually, scientifically, the product can be eaten, can be consumed by anyone actually.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we have one more question if we can scroll it up. Yeah. Who are Gloobe's existing partners for this platform, and what types of partners is Gloobe hoping to collaborate with to create a more holistic portal for new mothers?
Currently, this idea is still in the air. It's a dream. So we need people that can envision our dream to actually reality. So in terms of partners, I think that's why we are here today, to really outreach to those that is really an expert in the field. Because right now the company doesn't really have anyone that is how to say, well versed in creating such platforms. Yeah, I mean, what we could probably reach out to is people that can actually, you know, for now the only thing that we can envision is a proper app or an app that can really, you know, integrate everything.
Absolutely. I'm sure that there will be more questions, and of course, you as the viewers, you can continue to post your questions, and I'm sure Khairul will be more than happy to answer them. Thank you very much, Khairul, for answering the questions as well as your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, we have the e-commerce assistant manager of Food Culture Singapore to do her presentation. We have Magdalene Teo. Magdalene?
Thank you, Alvin. Thank you for this opportunity to present at Tech Innovation. So I'll just get straight into it. So our problem statement for today is how we might design for an experiential engagement for consumers to interact with brands in the current times COVID situation, as well as with respect to safe distancing. So a brief introduction about who we are as who Food Culture Singapore is. So we are a one-stop Singapore premium food and gifts e-commerce store. We are like a collaborative e-commerce platform, which and we aim to showcase local food and craft brands. And these include lesser known Singaporean brands and startups, as well as heritage brands that have been in the market for a long time. But the main, the common theme, the common thing amongst all these brands is that they are all Singaporean. So we officially launched this year National Day on the 9th of August. And so our goal is to actually provide support for these brands by assisting them to go digital. So how we do it is that we help them with their digital marketing, as well as onboarding them onto our platform. And we also help with their inventory management, as well as order fulfillment processes, and the processing payment as well. But more than just that, we want to engage consumers and help them reach new target audiences as well. So we do this through creating online as well as offline experiences like pop-ups, exhibitions, roadshows, etc. And lastly, how we want to help these companies is to help them to go global. And this is done by tapping onto our existing networks, our existing business networks, as well as linking businesses up together to collaborate and expand. So currently we have about 30 plus brands on our platform, and we are targeting to reach 100 brands, 100 Singaporean brands by the end of this year. So we have a variety of brands on our platform, such as coffee, tea, beverages. We have sauce and jams, snacks, sweets and chocolates as well. So it's really a wide variety. Even personal care items like moisturizers, as well as medical supplies like surgical masks. We are also on multiple platform listings such as Lazada, Shopee, and Watsons. And so we also do gift collaboration. So like gift bundles where we target the corporate sector to, especially in this climate where like everyone is working from home and people like to send gifts to encourage each other. This is a very good way for us to reach our consumers, help our brands reach our consumers together. And so as part of our Go Digital efforts, we help brands by giving them a boost on social media. So we share their photos and post regularly on our social media channels and help them market their products. Also, through offline channels, we connect with consumers through pop-ups by providing them opportunities for to join exhibitions or events and have a chance to connect with their consumers. So for example, recent one that we did was the Iberia Experiential Bazaar, where we actually had a showroom as our event venue, and we populated the showroom with like all our all the with products from a variety of our brands. For example, like we had food on the table from our brands, and attendees could actually walk through the showroom and look at our products, and they can buy them on the spot if they wish to. So here comes the problem statement. So we understand that actually for new brands especially, physical pop-ups are very important for them to reach their target audience and allow them to connect with their consumers better. So our problem statement is how we might design for this sort of experiential pop-up where consumers can interact with brands safely, respecting the safe distancing measures, but still be able to like taste or interact with the brands and understand more about their brand stories. So we hope to create this kind of experiential pop-up or space where our consumers can connect with the brands. And some of the things that we hope to carry out in this pop-up would be some tastings or demonstrations, brand workshops as well. And we hope to showcase at least 25 brands and be able to sell their products at the pop-up as well. Incorporating sustainability would be a plus. And we also hope to cater to families, so families can come and visit the pop-up and have a good time. And we also hope to be able to reuse this pop-up idea in other spaces as well. So it should be versatile to some extent. And where possible, we hope to incorporate local artists or talents, for example, in marketing efforts. And our budget is roughly about $50,000. Development timeline would be about 3 months. Yeah, so that's the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening in.
Thank you, Magdalene, for that presentation. Now, if you don't mind, I've got maybe a couple of questions to ask you. Okay, let's see, what's the first one? Is Food Culture SG able to share demographics of people who are currently visiting Food Culture SG? This would help understand the segment that we might be designing this experience for.
So we have a audience we have consumers from a variety of age groups and sectors, but they are mainly local because right now we haven't expanded to worldwide shipping, but we are definitely looking at that in the near future. Yeah, but currently it will be local audience.
Okay. We have another question. What types of partners is Food Culture hoping to collaborate with? Are you looking at collaborating with global partners?
For global partners, we definitely will not rule that out because as long as it helps to benefit our Singaporean brands and allow them to expand their businesses, we will definitely entertain that idea.
Well, has Food Culture SG tried any recent pop-up ideas?
Actually, right now we are planning a pop-up, but that is still in the works because currently there are a lot of measures and things that we need to take note of in this current situation. So we definitely hope to have a pop-up for our current brands sometime by the end of this year.
Right.
Yeah.
So you mentioned it's a 3-month project time frame. Are you looking at January? When is the cutoff date?
We are looking at next year, Yeah, January around there.
In January 2022.
Yes,
Right,
we are
okay.
quite flexible with the dates for
All right,
now.
okay.
Yes.
Is there a specific majority, like females? It was a follow-up question on the demographic issues.
Actually, no, we don't really have a specific like gender demographic for our website. We have quite a balanced audience.
Okay. Are there specific or particular food brands that are more suitable for a pop-up based on your experience?
Based on our experience, actually, as long as they don't require like, I mean, even if they do require significant like prep time for their products to make their products or etc., or require like certain logistics, I think that can be worked out as well. Yeah, so it's quite open in that sense.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much for answering those questions, Mac. Thank you very much for your presentation as well. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to remind you to submit your questions in the Q&A feature on your screen. Moving on, we have the next presenter, Dr. Sukor, Research Fellow, International Longevity Centre Singapore of SAL Foundation.
Hi, a very good afternoon, everyone. So I'd like to thank everyone for participating and also to Design Singapore for inviting us as a non-profit organization to come aboard and crowdsource some of the solutions that can benefit seniors that we serve in this time of COVID-19. So just to give you a very brief background of what we do. So at SAL Foundation, we are a non-profit organization. We have been around since 1993. And at SAL Foundation, we believe that longevity is opportunity. So we actually want to transform aging experiences to something that is positive for older people. And we seek mindset change and systemic change by doing three things. So firstly, we try to implement innovative models of community care. So we were one of the first non-profits that actually pioneered the home care for seniors, as well as this idea of aging in the community. We also do a lot of public education and training of caregivers as well as care professionals in dementia-related knowledge, caregiving, and counseling. The last thing we do is also research and collaboration. So we work closely with universities as well as other international advocacy networks to research on some of the issues that older persons face and advocate for policy that can address these issues. So we have been serving mainly two different catchment areas in Singapore. So our primary catchment area is actually in the Tiong Bahru Chinatown area. But in 2014, we were invited by the City of All Ages Committee to actually set up a center for seniors in Whampoa. So for those who are not so familiar, Whampoa is actually a housing estate in the Novena Balestier area. And we were invited by this City of All Ages Committee to actually go into this Whampoa area to serve the seniors there. So in 2014, we actually did a very representative and community-wide survey of seniors. It was based on representative sampling of 1,375 seniors. And we found that the profile of seniors there were, generally about 10% of them had some kind of cognitive issues or impairment. About 50% actually reported feeling occasional feelings of isolation, loneliness. And in terms of the social demographic profile, about close to 10% of them actually live alone. And most of them mainly lived in a 3-room flat or smaller. So with this profile in mind, we set up this COMSA model in Whampoa. So COMSA actually stands for Community for Successful Aging. And this COMSA model is actually an integrated system of comprehensive programs and services for older people living in Whampoa. So we target the whole spectrum of seniors, from those who are more well, ambulant and active, to seniors who have cognitive issues, frail, and are even those who are at the end of life. So for the more well and active seniors, we have three main components in COMSA. So first is the COMSA Learning Room, which is mainly active aging and learning programs for seniors. We also have Cafe Kawan, which is a space which is run by seniors for seniors. So there's a community kitchen in Cafe Kawan. There's also a community library. And seniors, they can actually use this space to prepare meals, run activities that they want. So it's really a space for them. And we also have the Empower program. So very interestingly, Empower is actually a kind of like a community design thinking workshop where we actually get seniors themselves to think of community issues that they want to address and come up with solutions. For the more frail seniors, we have an integrated suite of home care, home-based and center-based programs. So that has been the COMSA model that we have been delivering since 2014 when we went into Wangpo. But I think our motivation for joining this design challenge is really due to the impact of COVID-19 and the disruption that we have seen to the services that we run, as well as the activities that we are organizing, as well as some of the implications in terms of maintaining community networks and partnerships built over the past years. So our motivations for participating in this design challenge is mainly threefold. So firstly, we have seen that, due to COVID-19 and all the social distancing measures, disruptions on community services and programs, there's really an increased impact on the well-being of seniors, as well as increased risk of mental health issues, social isolation, and recently even increase in suicide rates among seniors. So a lot of our activities have actually been affected by COVID. Although we try to transit online in terms of running some of our events, especially, for example, the community design thinking workshops online, but online activities actually lack the physical presence and visibility in the community. So it actually have an impact in terms of the community spirit as well. And also a lot of these online activities, because a lot of our seniors, we did a survey previously, most of the seniors actually, less than 25% have a laptop. So a lot of them are actually participating in these activities over their smartphone on Zoom. So the kind of engagement, the experience that they get through online participation is also very different. And the fun factor is also kind of like affected. So we actually want to engage with Design Singapore to see how we can actually review our model of service delivery, how we can actually think of new hybrid online, offline kind of experiences to engage seniors. And perhaps this may be, we might need to come up with more interactive and senior-friendly kind of platforms that can actually engage older persons. We also recognize that built environment is something that is very important for seniors' well-being. And during this time of COVID, we have really seen that, because they're unable to come up to participate in activities, and more and more, of older adults, they actually want to go into the community spaces to hang out in these community spaces. But a lot of these kind of like built environment was not designed taking in mind like COVID and how we need to have like more, for example, like maybe more private corners where people can hang out with, but they're still safe like within their bubble, and yet can still see everyone else in the community and feel connected. So with that in mind, our challenge statement is really twofold. So firstly is how can we actually design for age-friendly community in Wangpo that can enable older persons to continue living healthy, engaged, and purposeful life, especially as COVID-19 becomes endemic. And secondly is how can we use technology to offer hybrid online, offline experiences to engage our seniors and strengthen our sense of community. So with that, we actually are looking out for three main things. First of all, I think the first thing is really we are trying to appeal to design thinkers to help us rethink and reconceptualize what does an age-friendly community really means as COVID become endemic. So if seniors are at higher risk of COVID-19 and we're asking them to stay at home, to not take part in like large-scale activities, then we will also need to think about how we can design some of these hardware, for example, our outdoor spaces, our built environment, housing also, such that we can still facilitate social participation of seniors, their access to information, and reduce the digital divide. The second thing that we're looking out for is actually ways to modify the built environment itself to minimize risk of COVID-19 transmission so that they can still navigate the built environment in their neighborhood safely and improve wayfinding. So one of the interesting projects for wayfinding is, for example, this art mural project by Dimension Singapore, where residents are actually invited to paint the void decks, the pillars of their void decks, so that people with dementias as well as other residents can easily navigate and find their way around, as well as using this kind of artworks to promote sense of community and ownership. And the last thing that we're looking out for is actually how can we design better platforms that actually offer more participatory online, offline kind of experiences to engage seniors and organize some of these activities. For example, one of the things which we were thinking of is perhaps the idea of interactive walls in void decks of HDB flats could be considered, where there's a kind of like experiential pop-ups that can engage seniors and have some kind of like community message boards displaying messages of hope or relaying information that seniors can interact with safely in this time of COVID. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Su, for that presentation. Now, we've got some time for you to answer some of the burning questions that our viewers have posted. First and foremost, we have a question. Are you looking at collaborating with partners for the offline, like volunteering opportunities, or is it online, the UI UX platform aspects of your project?
We're looking at both because we recognize that we need actually both of these to come together to offer a hybrid experience. And that is also something that we are trying to do. We are trying to kind of like run some of our activities online over Zoom, but at the same time have some kind of like physical presence of these activities in the community. So we welcome ideas from both sides. Yeah.
Right, it's indeed somewhat of a balance right now, actually.
Yes.
So the next question we have for you is SAO Foundation aiming to engage seniors who are physically and mentally well only for this project? Are you working with grassroots groups or other community networks already?
Yes, so we work very closely with the grassroots, and I think the City of All Ages initiative, it was really the grassroots that invited SAO Foundation to go into Wampo. So definitely a lot of these activities or ideas that the designers come up with, we can definitely link you up with the grassroots and get the grassroots on board to explore some of these ideas. Yeah.
So will you be including all seniors regardless of their physical conditions?
So we serve seniors of different conditions, from those who are more frail to those who are more active. But as I shared earlier, because we're also trying to get seniors themselves to be advocates, to be volunteers. So for this pool of seniors, we actually engage those who are more active and more, ambulant, in the community.
Right.
So I think we can definitely target both. But if we want to draw on seniors as a resource, then we can, look at how, we can target and perhaps the more active seniors themselves.
Okay, moving on to the next question. When you say designing for the age-friendly community in Wampo, could you share rough plans on how you envision the partnership with potential responders? Would this begin as a small pilot first, as a small area within Wampo?
So definitely we're thinking of a pilot project first in Wampo as a kind of like conceptual idea. So I mean, we have the ComSA model, which we have, pilot tested in Wampo and has been evaluated quite vigorously. But we are welcoming, ways to actually improve this service delivery model, as well as review it in times of COVID. Yeah, how we can actually transform this model.
Moving on to the next question, should challenge solvers include seniors caregivers in their proposals as well?
Definitely, and I think especially if we are looking at the safety and well-being aspects, wayfinding. I think caregivers are a very important subgroup that we need to consider. And we do work with caregivers, and we get seniors themselves to actually think of caregiving issues and some of the things that they can do. So I think we can definitely, look into caregivers and link the designers up with a caregiver's perspective. And yeah.
Okay, we've got a couple more questions to ask you. Were there previous partners, for example, architects that SAO worked together with before in building age-friendly spaces?
So we do engage with architects and interior designers, but they were mainly in the space of like community heritage and setting up community museums. So, and we're also very interested in a curation of like community heritage. So we actually work with NUS professors in architecture to set up like a roving museum, throughout Whampoa that we can bring around to display objects of like intangible and tangible heritage. Yeah, but I think something that we really need, and it will really be like an integrated perspective, is beyond this the center that we have, and then all these ongoing like programs, how to actually expand and improve the built environment all throughout Whampoa. So I'm talking like void decks and public spaces. Yeah.
So do you have any plans how you plan to reach out to the seniors as a start? Are there any plans, existing plans?
So one of the activities that I mentioned earlier, which is the community design thinking workshops. So that one, we are actually running community design thinking workshops, engaging seniors and a lot of the stakeholders in the space. For example, HDB, URA, we have different ministries to actually think of issues that seniors themselves want to solve. And one of the issues actually, the built environment and transport related issues. So we have ongoing kind of engagement with stakeholders and seniors. And also in terms of outreach, because we deliver a lot of services, center-based services, home care services. So I mean, we have been engaging seniors since a very long time.
Yes. Very quickly, just a couple, we've run out of time actually, but just two more questions. Have you looked into collaborating with other community centers, for example, CHCSA? Are you familiar with them?
Yes. But I think we definitely collaborate with a lot of centers.
Yes.
Yeah. So within Whampoa itself, there are a lot of different service providers, different SSA. So we collaborate with the Whampoa Family Service Center. We collaborate with other kinds of VWOs as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one last question before we let you go. Are you open to partnering with urban farming companies for physical presence for senior participation?
Seniors really love gardening. So
That's
this
right.
will be something that is very exciting for them.
Yeah. So you would be open to it?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much for answering all the questions and for your presentation as well, Sue. Thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of this session. Thank you to all our speakers and to all attending this webinar for your active participation today. Please note that the proposal submission deadline is on the 31st of March 2022. Now, please click on the info button on your screen to submit a rating out of 5 stars and your feedback before exiting this session or joining the next one. For attendees who will be joining us at our next thematic session on IP Hatch 2021, we will see you at 2 p.m. Singapore time. Thank you.